gonna notice. You make it look easy. Go on and do what you do. All of this looks like gold. What you touch turns to gold. Pop, are you seeing clear? Are you seeing clear? Pop, pop, all the colors here, all the colors here. Pop, are you seeing clear? Are you seeing clear? Pop, pop, all the colors here, all the colors here. Now let me show you something that'll blow your mind. Now let me show you something that'll blow your mind. Now let me show you something that'll blow your mind.
A membership. So agents are from across the board. You could be Century 21, you could be a Remax agent, you could be Exit Realty. So we understand that it's a membership and you get access to a preferred rate that has been negotiated by TRREB head office. So I will present the power of direct mail, and our turnkey solution provider, one-to-one mailing, will demonstrate how to book a direct mail campaign using their Post Now tool. And as I previously mentioned, a preferred postage rate has been negotiated at the head office level, and it will be applied when you use the Post Now tool for turnkey solutions. For those of you that just joined us or a little late, Nate's going to say hi. Maybe you want to give us a wave, Nate.
Hey everybody, I'm Nate, one of the co-founders of the Post Now tool that we'll be talking about in the latter half of the webinar today. And we've got Craig as well. Craig, you want to give a wave? You might have to unmute yourself.
Hello everybody, looking forward to meeting some of you.
So Craig will be answering all sorts of questions that you guys pop into the chat as the webinar goes. Anything that we don't address or that is important enough to bring up, we'll answer at the end or between segments as well. Thanks, Sandra.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm going to carry on. So I will keep my presentation short and quickly give you an overview of the benefits of Canada Post direct mail in the next few slides, followed by a live demonstration on the Post Now tool presented by Nate, who you just met from one-to-one mailing. So to start, Canada Post is the only company who could reach 16 million addresses in Canada every day. We get your marketing message to your audience unlike any other company, so you could sell more and grow your business. Unlike any other medium, Canada Post has exclusive access to every condo and apartment building in Canada. We have access to 4 million households living in condos and apartments daily, and 85% of these units are located in major urban centers. Over 2 million households living in apartments and condos are located in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver alone. So for agents who specialize in condo sales, don't miss out on this desirable and large demographic group that is reachable with Canada Post. With Canada Post, you could rest assured that your items will be delivered professionally and that the integrity of your brand and message will not be compromised. Knowing the value of your advertising dollars when it's most important to consider. We have been at Canada Service for over 250 years, and Canadians have confidence in our brand. We only hire adult delivery carriers with standards for delivery and quality controls in place. So yes, it is guaranteed that your piece of mail will end up in the mailbox and not on the floor. So there are many challenges facing marketers, real estate agents, and just everyone in today's world. However, we did come up with some 5 key points that I will quickly go through. So number 1 is increased competition means that competition for clients is fierce in Canada. Our turnkey solution partner, one-to-one mailing, can create a targeted mailing plan for you with creative that stands out while leveraging your corporate discounted rate with their Post Now tool. Now, if you already have creative in place, that's great. You could also upload whatever you have and they could still execute your campaign. Number 2, shifting demographics brings with them new expectations and needs. For instance, millennials spend more time researching, focusing more on neighborhoods and schools, and value personal connections with their agents. Meanwhile, newcomers are interested in urban centers and are also making an impact, with 7 out of 10 buying a home within 5 years of landing in Canada. Not sure if you knew, but we could also target by mother tongue. So if you are trying to target newcomers to Canada, that is a data solution that Nate and his team could also execute for you. Number 3, disruption. Buyers and sellers have greater direct access to digital information, while online alternatives are fueling do-it-yourself real estate transactions. Agents must also contend with the impact of new investment rules and having their clients in this volatile market. For instance, the interest rate hikes in 2022 stress test foreign buyer regulations and vacant home tax in Toronto, to name a few. With more marketing channels like digital and social to choose from, it's harder to keep up with the best ways to reach your potential clients and achieving the best return on your investment. And number 5, performing multiple roles every day. Today's agents operate in a time crunched, volatile environment where every dollar spent affects the bottom line. The solution for acquiring and retaining clients needs to cut through the daily clutter and work. So save your time and money by booking your direct mail with our turnkey solution provider, one-to-one mailing. So why is direct mail the preferred channel used by agents? Well, number 1, it works. However, that is a lot easier to say. So the next few slides will show you what I mean. So how can direct mail boost your business as a realtor? Well, if you'd like to get noticed, 88% of Canadians said they read direct mail. Top agents use it throughout the year to tell their story and keep their brand awareness strong. Number 2, if you want to get new clients, acquire new clients, 79% of Canadians save direct mail received in the mailbox, while 34% of Canadians always or sometimes display advertising mail of interest to them in their homes. Direct mail helps you by physically putting your brand into your prospects' hands and into their homes, where decisions to buy and sell a home is typically made. And finally, if you want to drive repeat business and referrals, well, 68% of Canadians said they are likely to share advertising received in the mailbox. A single direct mail piece can live well beyond the day of delivery. When people receive a relevant item in the mail, they will keep it, display it, and even share it with others. That makes direct mail an ideal channel for building repeat and referral business.
Sandra, could we stop on that for a second and chat
Sure.
about that?
Sure.
For those of you that have done email marketing or Facebook marketing or other forms of digital marketing, I think this is one of the biggest reasons that direct mail stands out for real estate agents. And that ability for the mail piece to go from the mailbox to the counter to the sofa, they get left behind when they're tangible and when they resonate with your audience. Unlike that email, I don't know about you guys, but like an email comes in the morning and I just flip through my phone and archive. I don't even look at them. And if they get archived, they never get looked at again. So direct mail, those impressions of a direct mail really does stand out, and it's why they get shared, unlike email marketing and these digital forms. No one shares a digital ad. Very few people. Yeah.
You make a really good point, Nate, because I have never forwarded a digital, like all these sales I get, friends and family, or, 15% off free shipping for certain brands that I shop with, and I never forward them. That's a really good point. But I have passed on some direct mail pieces, such as like coupons and relevant stuff. If I knew someone was looking for new windows and I got a piece, I would pass that along as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's some background noise. I'm just muting people as I hear noises. So I do apologize if there's some pauses in the presentation. So I'm going to move forward. Now, this slide is really powerful. There's an often misconception that millennials don't really engage with direct mail, and it's quite the opposite. Our stats and research has shown us that all generations have a positive response to direct mail. As you can see, half of the millennials, Gen Xers, and boomers are excited to see what's in their physical mailbox, and over 40% of all generations keep promotional mail for future reference. This is really, really powerful. To Nate's point, people do not save digital emails like they do physical mail. And did you know that our turnkey solution partner, one-to-one mailing, can target using Canada Post data? We have over 3 billion different data points, for instance, from demographic, interests and behaviors, life stages, and lifestyles to address attributes. So some of the most obvious ones for real estate agents would be targeting people probably that own versus rent. And why is this popular? Well, if you're trying to target upsizers, Most likely, they could be currently renting in big major cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, where housing is a little bit less affordable, and maybe they're saving for that big purchase. So you might want to target someone who's currently renting with a growing family and who's trying to buy their first home. Now, if you want to target people that are downsizing, you definitely want to target people that own their home. So these are just a couple of data points. There's so many more that you could use with one-to-one mailing. Another popular one is there's some agents that just specialize in condo and apartment sales, and you could select that and not select homes. Whereas, there's some agents that just want to deal with homes and not apartments and condos. So this is something interesting that you currently can't do when you use the EOE, which is the Express Order Entry tool, if you are currently booking it yourself. So that gives you an advantage of working with a partner that you could layer in data into your geographical targeting. Nate, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you covered that pretty well. We'll show how to add some of these options when we build a campaign a little bit later here.
Okay, terrific. So I'll move forward. So what are some Canada Post Smart Mail marketing solutions? Well, we actually have 3 solutions to offer. However, the most popular one with agents is neighborhood mail, which is unaddressed ad mail, because the reach is wide and you could target to many households in a given neighborhood. Neighborhood mail, as I mentioned, is unaddressed, so there is no name or address on it. No markings. It's just a postcard usually or a newsletter, and it goes straight to the mailbox. The other 2 solutions we offer are personalized mail, which is addressed mail, and it's delivered to one household, and postal code targeting, which is unaddressed and delivered to a few households at the postal code level. So with addressed mail, basically you have to have the person's name and address on it. And with the postal code targeting, you don't have to have the person's name or address, but it will go to several postal codes, so about 20 homes on a route. So we will have another webinar in September to focus on personalized mail, as many agents start planning for the holidays and they like to send out holiday cards or calendars to their database of clients for loyalty and retention. Neighborhood mail is more of an acquisition play, and that's what we're focusing on today, how to grow your business with new clients. So why do 95% of agents choose neighborhood mail? Well, as I mentioned in the previous slide, the reach is wide and you could target by the FSA, which is the first 3 digits of a postal code, or at the route level. You could target all or some of the homes in any given neighborhood. If you want to build awareness and recognition, when you add direct mail to your digital campaigns, you drive 39% more attention, 10% higher brand recall, and 5% greater emotional response. We say that digital and direct mail together are better, or better
Yeah.
together. I mean.
Yeah. We talk to our clients. The biggest story we try to present to them is that direct mail is oftentimes the entryway to your digital marketing funnels. Most of you have probably got digital CRMs and tools to track, and so direct mail becomes that piece that gets people into those funnels in a better way than typical digital channels, or complements those digital channels.
Absolutely. And, trust is number 1 in business. So if you want to strengthen trust, 57% of consumers feel more valued when brands connect through them through mail. Buying and selling a home are the most important transactions of your clients' lives. So trust is critical. You could build trust by reinforcing your experience and featuring your success in a given neighborhood. Agents do this by sending direct mail items that showcase recent sales and satisfied clients, for instance. And finally, best practices. Well, if you're getting Nate and his team to design the piece, you don't have to worry about the best practices. They will make sure they are in place. However, if you are uploading your own design to be printed, prepped, and delivered to Canada Post, these are just a few items that you probably want to consider. Make sure it's simple and useful and it has a long shelf life in the home. In addition to the postcard, you could send a calendar, notepads, magnets, pens. Physical newsletters are also a great way to advertise your expertise, which builds trust and credibility, which we just discussed. If you offer other services like professional staging or home inspection, it's a great idea to feature these as added values in your DM piece. Showcase yourself as a one-stop shop for buyers and sellers. I've actually even seen some agents put, barbecue recipes in the summer, great cocktails and mocktails. That's really creative and neat, and it makes it more personalized to the person who receives that piece of mail. So also use the direct mail piece to build your personal brand by letting your community know if you sponsor a team or participate in neighborhood events. This is great if you're farming a neighborhood and you're coaching a hockey team. You're more likely going to connect with those other parents on that hockey team. If you let them know that you're part of that team, it's just an added advantage. And finally, the important thing is always to know your audience and neighborhood. Local knowledge can give you ideas on how to connect, when to connect, and the messaging you use to connect. This is just examples of some templates that are customizable. The one on the left is a typical postcard, and the one on the right is a newsletter. One-to-one mailing has a huge selection to choose from, or you could simply upload your own creative. So if you are using a template, it's no added cost to you. If you want them to design it from scratch, there is a cost. Nate could go over that in his demonstration.
Sure. And maybe just a quick pause
Sure.
on that one.
Absolutely.
The templates we have available in Post now are specific to the ways that you can send mail. So Sandra mentioned the neighborhood mail and the personalized mail and postal code targeting. Each of those has specific design rules that need to be applied to them in order for them to actually be able to go through the Canada Post system. And so by using our templates or working with us, you never have to worry about there being an issue with your piece and it being rejected, which happens all the time to realtors.
That's a great point, because if you are doing it yourself and you ask me for our guide, it's about, what is it, Nate? 50, 60 pages long?
70 some pages long. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're doing it yourself, we're happy to send you our guide. And there's a lot of rules and restrictions with Canada Post, to Nate's point. So you don't have to worry about this. They're experts. They've been our partner, for several years, our partner of the year, and they've been in business for 20 years. They know what they're doing. So your mail will never get rejected by one of our depots. And finally, turnkey solutions, and then we'll dive into the demo. So before we go into the demo, I just want to highlight turnkey solutions are available with Canada Post expert partners. They will apply your corporate rate, which is the TRREB rate, and take care of everything from start to finish in 4 easy steps. One-to-one mailing is highly experienced with servicing real estate agents and brokers across Canada. And as I mentioned, they've been in business for over 20 years. They could actually book all 3 of our solutions. I know we're just highlighting neighborhood mail, but if you're interested in postal code targeting or personalized mail solutions, they could do all 3. So it's pretty simple. There's 4 easy steps. Number 1, you would select from existing templates or upload your own design. Custom options are also available. Number 2, you securely upload customer data or build a customer target audience with one of our solutions. If you need help, they have live agents, customer success managers that could talk to you and walk you through your first order. They could also simplify your campaign with one payment for print and postage. So if you're doing it yourself, you've got to pay Canada Post for the postage, and then whoever you're using to print, if it's Vistaprint, Staples, Minuteman, you've got to pay another fee there, and then you've got to save all these invoices for your taxes at the end of the year. They make it easy. They are mailing on behalf of your customer number, so you only get one invoice from them, the all-in price. And finally, your campaign is printed, prepped, and sent to Canada Post on time. The worst thing is when you have a listing and you're late dropping it off at the post office and now your property sold, that direct mail piece was kind of a waste. So you want to make sure it's prepped and delivered on time before an open house to get those people to come and see your property that you're showcasing. And finally, what one-to-one mailing can do with today with Canada Post data. So I'm not going to go too far into this. I just want to read you some interesting stats. So, within upsizers, for instance, within the first 15 years of entering the labor force, Canadians tend to transition to new life stages, namely marriage and growing families, and that motivates them to seek larger homes. So, this might be your strategy to target upsizers, and you could do that by choosing the age demo, 20 to 39, household income, depending where they are in Canada. I just read an article that to buy a home in Toronto, you need to be making a household income of over 160K. If it's somewhere else in Canada, like East Coast, it might be a little cheaper, or sorry, less household income. Now, if you want to target downsizers, many older Canadians experiencing changing life needs. This includes empty nesters and snowbirds transitioning to single level housing and condos, or they might leave the whole home ownership. Like it would be great, just sell your house in Toronto, buy a condo in the city and a place in Costa Rica. I mean, you'd have enough income from that house that you just sold. So to target these downsizers, you could still choose the demographic, which would probably be like 55, 60 plus household income, and you want to target people who own their property if they're going to sell it. And, our popular targeting is by geography and demographics. Perhaps you want to focus on a prestigious neighborhood. So you could choose an FSA and a household income. If you're doing luxury real estate, you probably want household incomes of over 500K. There's not going to be many in Canada, but still, if that's your specialty, we could help you find those routes and those homes where they live. And you could target by address. So you could use your own database of customer names and addresses to target them throughout the year to keep loyalty and generate referrals. So finally, the fun part begins, and Nate's going to show you a demo of how their turnkey solution works, but we will take a short pause to see if there are any questions. I did see some dinging in the chat. So Nate, maybe if there's anything that's not answered, I'm happy to answer.
Sure. I think Craig's been keeping on top of this pretty good, but for those of you that didn't see, there was a question around, do real estate agents actually use direct mail in Canada? And the answer is yes. More than 120 million pieces were sent for real estate agents across Canada last year. And last year, I think Sandra can attest to this, is a lot of real estate agents weren't doing marketing because you didn't need to. And so even in a down year from a marketing perspective, 120 million pieces have been sent. And in the past, I think it's been far higher than that too. So it works. Regarding postal code targeting and a preferred rate, the answer is no. And I think the standard rate is 38 cents currently for postal code targeting. It's I can cover that in our demo a little bit. Postal code targeting is a very unique type of direct mail. It's for advanced direct mail users. It's not an initial one to start with. It's very complex to kind of figure out the best way to do it. So we're not really going to focus on that too much today. I might get into it a bit, but Sandra, I'm going to share my screen.
Sounds good. I'm going to stop sharing right now. Thank you, Nate.
Great. All right. So I'm Nate from Post Now, one of the founders, and so we've been working on this system for years and have been supporting real estate agents with this particular one for about 1.5 years now. One-to-one mailing, the company behind this, though, has been around for about 25 years. 25 years. And so we've worked with real estate agents for a long, long time and understand, the challenges that you guys deal with. Post Now was built to solve a lot of those challenges so that you can keep your marketing cost effective and drive those results. So I just want to, while I chat here, I just want to leave up a quick little testimonial from one of the realtors that we do work with. And using direct mail helped him reach his 12-month goal in 7 months with a dedicated campaign that had repetition and frequency added to it. So a little bit about Post Now, though. Our goal is to do all of the heavy lifting for you. We want to make direct mail as easy as possible for you, and that means you can order a campaign in minutes, and we'll do all the hard work and just work with you so that you can go back and keep serving your customers. We do try to provide a concierge level service. Yep, it's an online tool, and that's one of the ways that we're able to give you such great pricing for the campaigns. But we have live support and phone support, and we're there every step of the way. And so you're not left hanging like you are if you try to order something through Vistaprint, where there's really no one to talk to and to tell you that it's good or bad. Our account managers are going to make sure that your pieces, the piece that you're printing, looks good, that it's going to print well, that the audience that you've selected matches what your campaign goals are. So that's the support we're going to add outside of the just being able to send your campaign. Pricing is competitive, as you'll see as we go through here. And to Sandra's point, as TRREB agents, you all get the TRREB neighborhood mail rate, which is phenomenal. So why does direct mail matter for agents? Sandra covered this. I'm going to cover it again, though. And I think one of the biggest ones is it helps you create that personal brand. That personal brand as a real estate agent is everything, especially when you're trying to dominate a neighborhood because you know and understand that neighborhood. You can highlight your reputation by providing the results of your efforts. How quickly you sold that home, how much over asking it went for, or even just that testimonial from that customer that loved your service and as you supported them. At the end of the day, though, our goal, and I think your goal too, is to sell more homes, and direct mail does that. So direct mail does that, but direct mail isn't one of those marketing channels that you can dip your toe in and expect to see success. And so best practices are something that we always focus on at Post Now. It's how our campaigns are built and the templates are built and the offerings that we provide, they're best practices. We don't send 4x6 postcards through Post Now because they don't work. Our smallest postcard size that we're sending out is 5.5 by 8.5 for real estate agents. We want it to stand out in the mailbox, and we know that does. The trick with direct mail, though, and I think if you take one thing away from the webinar today, is that if you want to succeed with direct mail, whether you use a partner like us or you do it yourself, is you have to do it with repetition and the right frequency. Repetition doesn't mean once a year you send a postcard to a neighborhood. It means that every 3 to 6 weeks, you're reaching out and trying to stay top of mind with the homeowners or the people that live in that neighborhood that you're trying to find new customers and new sale opportunities in. We always say that you want to promote your brand, you want to push what you're doing in the industry, and you want to talk to that neighborhood like you're truly a neighborhood expert. And by being in that neighborhood continually, whether it was, you overlaid a social media campaign over that same neighborhood as well, but that repetition really does drive the value in you as a brand. On average, I think most of us are seeing somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 advertisements a day, brand messaging. And if we're in Toronto, it's going to be that high end. Brand messaging is everywhere. As you go through public transit, as you walk down the street, you turn on the TV, you go through the internet. It's like ads are everywhere. And direct mail cuts through a lot of the clutter because it gets into their hands, into your hands. And that physical tactility makes a big difference. So we're going to get into building a campaign. And when we work with our clients, our goal is to work on their targeting, their offer, and their design, and in that order. So we want to help you find the right target, and we're going to help you, or ideally you've got your own offer, but we'll help you with that offer if necessary and help you with the targeting, and then ultimately make sure that your design matches the targeting in the offer. The best design in the world doesn't work if it goes to people that don't care about what you're talking about. All right, so I think we're ready for a demo. Let's jump into this. So this is Post Now. You can get here by going to postnow.ca. If you go postnow.ca/TRREB, you'll be taken to the TRREB sign-up page where you can set up an account and we'll get you all verified so that you get that Canada Post discount rate on all of the postage. Once you've logged in and had your account verified, you can do a couple things in here. And I'm going to go through them pretty quick before we build the first campaign. There's a direct mail library of random templates in here. And so these will depend on how your account's set up as to what you have available to you, but you're all real estate agents, so you'll have kind of our standard set of templates available. There's also a campaign cost and budget planning calculator. And to be honest, this is one of my favorite tools. If you're not going to build a campaign, even using this just to find out how much it costs to do direct mail is very valuable. You can use this without signing in. It's just under the direct mail pricing option in the menu. And I'm going to do this really quick. So we're building a neighborhood mail campaign, so I'm going to filter my results down to neighborhood mail. Postage in here is standard, and so it would be discounted once you're signed in. And so as you sign in, all the options change to reflect your account. So if I wanted to send out 2,500 postcards, neighborhood mail, I can see that it's going to run me about $1,000, just over $1,000 for my print and my postage. It's actually less because of the TRREB rate, but I can get instant quotes on whatever I want to send out. And so based on the volume, you'll get better print and campaign rates. And so the print rate is the print, the design, the targeting, and the mail prep. It's everything that's associated with your campaign cost bundled into a single price. And so you can see exactly what that campaign is going to cost. So knowing how much it's going to cost to send a number of pieces is great, but you might have a budget in mind and wonder what the best way to use that budget is. And so if you switch the toggle up at the top to enter budget, and I'm gonna just change this to, let's go $1,500. If I've got a $1,500 budget and I wanna know what I can send out, we'll just pick neighborhood mail. Oh, give me a second here. We're just gonna refresh this quick. So if I switch this to budget, pop in a $1,500 budget, I can see exactly how many pieces I can send for each type of mail that's available. So personalized mail, neighborhood mail, and postal code targeting. And so, you know, I can send out 3,900 postcards with a $1,500 budget. All right, so that's the budget planner. Works great. We've also got an audience tool where you can build an audience before you build a campaign. And I'm gonna build this right away here. So I'm gonna do Toronto, well, let's do this different. So we're gonna call this Westridge Downsizers. And this is a neighborhood mail audience that I'm building. Those of you that have done direct mail and have used Precision Targeter, you know it can take a long time to kind of identify the right audiences. That's not how we build our campaigns on your end. We want to give you tools that make it easy. So I'm gonna send out 2,500 pieces, the size of this audience, and then I'm gonna build this. And so I click the add entry, and it's gonna pull up a nice little map interface for you here. And I'm gonna talk to Sandra's upsizers and downsizers, and hopefully you can kind of see my map here. So I'm in an area where on one side of this 170th road is an older community, estate style homes, and it's got a lot of people that have been in the area since the 70s. And so they're ready to move out. They're retired, they're looking for something smaller, they don't want the house upkeep anymore. And so this area represents a really great place for me to target a downsizer audience. And so what I would do is I could use the polygon tool, and I can just outline the area that I want my campaign to be sent to. So there's my downsizer geographic area that I want to target. If I scroll down here, I can now start to filter by my demographics to identify the best neighborhood walks, so the best neighborhoods and the streets to deliver my campaign to in here. Because they may not all be right. There's probably some apartments and some family stuff in here, and so I'm gonna filter this down. So I'm gonna start by choosing average age and ownership, and I'm gonna choose average income. You can choose up to 3 demographics and combine them together. The more you combine, the less of a perfect match you're going to find, because it's an aggregated data inside of the neighborhood, but this will give us a good point here. So I'm looking for, you know, retirees still making a decent amount. They're over 61 years old, and they're homeowners. And I'm just going to target houses, no apartments. And so I'm going to hit add entry. I've built my audience. That's all you need to do to build an audience. And so for those of you that have used Precision Targeter, you've probably spent, you know, half an hour just to make a single audience. And then if you've made a mistake, you're starting all over again. We do all of that work on the back end for you based on the information that you provide us. And your account manager will connect with you to discuss, you know, what may not be a good idea. And so if you combine demographics that aren't great, we're going to help you out and make sure that you have the best demographics to meet your marketing goals. So down here, I can see how much this campaign is going to cost me from a size side, and I'm just going to save this audience. And now I called this Westridge Downsizers. We're going to use this in the campaign that we build next. So my audience is saved and I'm ready to go. These audiences are available for you anytime in the future. And so you can build audiences and use them later, which makes it easy to do repeat mailings. When I talked about that repetition and frequency, this is a great way to make sure that you're sending to the right areas and you learn what works and what doesn't. So let's build that campaign. If you're in here and you're curious how to get there, underneath the direct mail tab, there's a create direct mail campaign. And then also once you log in on the dashboard, there's a build a campaign option here as well. All right, let's build. So this is our TRREB demo today. I'm gonna do neighborhood mail. And I'm going to start by choosing my induction date. This is the date that we can get your campaign delivered to Canada Post. We're about a 5-day production window from the time you order, which is so fast compared to everything else that's out there. That includes finalizing your design, your targeting, getting the print done, doing all of the mail prep, and then getting it to Canada Post for delivery. So I'm going to choose this, I want it in just after Easter, so I'm going to choose the 11th. And we built an audience, so I don't need to build a new one, but I could build an audience, and it's the same way that we just did it. Actually, I want to show you the budget tool in here, so maybe we will go this route. So I'm going to build a new audience again. I don't know how much I want to spend, or I know how much I want to spend. I don't know how many pieces that is. And so if I get to here and you see the campaign budget calculator, I'm going to pop this open. And what you'll see is it loads all of my neighborhood mail campaign options that I have available to me. And so I'm going to put in a budget of $1,250, and it gives me exactly how many pieces I can send for each of these formats. I'm going to send out a 5.5 by 8.5 postcard, and so I'm going to select that option. Once I select that option in here, it'll autofill the number in my audience amount, so I know what's going on, and it's going to preload a bunch of templates here. So I'm going to close that window up. Let's scroll down here. So repetition and frequency. I'm going to stop on this for just a bit. One of the best ways to save money with direct mail is to print multiple campaigns at once so that you can print a larger quantity and get the savings that comes from higher print quantities. And so for example, right now I'm going to print 3,000 pieces and I'm mailing to households one time. But maybe I'm going to target this same neighborhood for the next 4 months, and every month I want to send a postcard out to them. And so if I choose mail to all households multiple times, then I can scroll down here and choose how many drops. So how many times am I connecting with my audience? I'm going to say 4 times, and I can choose how often I want to connect with them. And so in this time, I'm just going to go a fixed duration and choose the monthly option. Once I do this, when I go and look at my pricing again, I'm now printing 12,000 pieces of mail, but my print rate goes down significantly from like 22 cents to 14 cents. And so I end up saving about $1,700 on this 4-drop campaign because of printing all of my pieces up front. The great thing about working with us and working with our account managers is if you want to design 4 different pieces, as long as you design them all at the start and work with us to get 4 different versions, we can print them all versioned so each of your 4 mail drops is a unique postcard. As long as we print them all at once, you get that cost savings. So to simplify this, I am just going to switch this back though and go to mail to all households one time. We were doing that postcard. And so I'm going to select that postcard. It's going to choose a bunch of templates down here. We're going to make an upsizers. We made our downsizers audience. Let's make an upsizers one. So this is a Collingwood upsizers. And for those of you that really understand the neighborhoods that you work in and that you want to dominate, I think this will make a lot of sense. With, we did this downsizer audience. Now let's do this upsizer one. So same thing. I'm going to open up the tool here to make a new audience. And last time we looked at this area in Patricia Heights over here. And on the other side of 170th is Collingwood. And Collingwood, I know you guys don't know this, but Collingwood is full of high density apartments and entry level homes for young families. But this other side of 170th that's where everybody wants to move. And so this upsizers audience, same thing. I'm going to use the circle tool this time. So I can draw a circle as big as I need to here, and I can kind of shift it around a little bit as needed, and that's pretty good. It's a nice, easy way to do this. So there's the area I want to target with this campaign. Now, last time we went for an older audience and a certain income level. I'm going to ignore the income level, and I'm just going to focus on age and ownership in this case. And so I'm looking for the 21 to 40-year-old age categories, and preferably renters. There's tons of rentals in that area. I would just like to target those areas. And I'm also only going to target apartments and multifamily. and I'm going to add that audience. So you can see how quickly you can build an audience. And like I mentioned, our team's going to look at the notes, look at the area that you've drawn on the map. They're going to do all the hard work to identify all the neighborhood areas in there that match the demographics and the options you've selected. So as I go here, I'm now going to pick a template. If I did have my own designs, I can just use the upload design and you send us the print ready files. We'll make sure that everything's good to go. And if there's any corrections that need to be made, we'll talk to you about them or potentially just try to fix them if you send us editable files. So today though, we're going to do that template gallery. And I'm going to just pick one of our templates here. Let's go with this guy. And so you can pop them open and see what's going on. Let's just find a real estate one. Here we go. There's a real estate one. I'll scroll down to the bottom, give any extra notes I have, just a demo. Agree to the terms, and I'm going to generate that campaign. So this took about 10-12 minutes for me to build while I kind of walked through everything. Most people find that it takes them about 5 minutes if they've got their campaign information ready to go to piece their first campaign together. And then it's, you know, a little bit faster every time you go forward there. Once you've built your campaign, you're taken to the checkout page and you can enter in your payment details. I'm just gonna bypass that for the demo so I can show you the next step here. We will confirm all of our details and I'm gonna place that order. So once you place your order, what'll happen is that the template that you selected goes into our proofing portal so you can start requesting changes. You've all seen those web to print tools where you got to do all the work yourself. We don't do that. At the end of the day, you're real estate agents and you understand the real estate market. We don't expect you to be great designers. That's why we have a design team of professionals on our side for you. So once you're checked out, you'll notice there's a next step here, request design changes. So I'm going to select this link. It's going to bring me over to our proofing tool, and I'm going to show you how to request changes to a mail template that you've selected. So we'll just let it load up here. So there's our campaign that we just built. I'm going to select that project, and it'll open up the ability to leave comments on all of the sides. So just click view here for a second.
Hey, Nate, Olga has a question for you as well. Has her hand up.
Olga, yeah. Olga, if you want to put it in the chat, then I'll get right to it, or we're just about done this and I'm gonna open this up to questions. So you'll note here's my template. And I've got the front side and the back side. And so obviously I don't want this person on it and I want a picture of me. So I'm gonna say use my picture, and I'm going to use the little upload option to find an image and attach that image. And so that image gets uploaded and sent right to our design team, and they know exactly where you've clicked on this mail piece, so they know what to edit. Once it's all edited and ready to go, you'll get an updated email that lets you pop in and see the new version. You know, I want to use my logo. So we're going to add the comment there. So I've got that one done. You can just keep adding as many pins as you want. And when you're ready to go to the next side, just use the arrows on the side and add your extra information here. So that's the proofing tool. It's probably our #1 favorite tool by our clients and customers. They love how easy this is and saves them, you know, you don't have to print a PDF. You know, if you're working with a team, no one's looking at an old version of a PDF while you're looking at the newest version sent to you. We can add multiple people to these projects so you can all see each other's comments. What's nice too is that if you are working with each other, you can have entire little comment chains about their changes and stuff you request. So internally, you guys get all the chances you need to communicate effectively with this. It works on a phone, which is nice. You can do it while you're on the go. You'll always get a better experience on the computer though. It's just a bigger screen helps. So that's pretty much how our system works. We've got a bunch of other tools, and I wish I had time to get into some of our really cool data tools, but if you've got more questions about direct mail, when you sign up at the TRREB page, and I'm just going to pop this link into the chat here for everybody too. When you sign up at the TRREB sign up page, you're going to get the option to request a direct mail strategy consultation. And so I'm just going to hop back to the presentation because I want to cover this. So we do offer a direct mail strategy consultation for all of our new customers, and the goal of that consultation is not to show you how to use the platform more than what we're talking about. We've got great videos and resources on how to do that. It's to actually talk about your actual direct mail strategy. And so we're going to cover things like how to pick the right audience in the neighborhoods for your goals, what type of print formats actually work the best, should you be sending a newsletter or a postcard or some sort of a mix of both, how often should you be mailing, those details. You get to talk to our expert direct mail team, and they'll walk through and make sure that you understand the best way to do direct mail for you. Our goal is not to, have you come in and do a single campaign and then not be happy with the results. It's to become your direct mail partner and help you execute a long-term marketing strategy that improves your book of business overall. So, and then finally, we do have a special TRREB promo for you all until the end of the month. So thanks for showing up. You get 15% additional 15% off of all of the print and design and targeting costs associated with a campaign. So that doesn't include an additional discount on the postage. Your postage discount is already outrageously good. And so we're going to help you with the print and the design costs as from our perspective when you order through us. So just use that code TRREB15 when you order, and that's taken care of. So I'm going to just switch back and we can kind of start answering some questions from everybody.
I think Olga's got a question, so I will unmute her.
Sure.
Olga, do you have a question, or did you put your hand up by mistake maybe?
You might just have to unmute yourself up in the top right of the screen where the mic little button is there. Craig, I know you're unmuted. Any questions that have kind of come up that we want to address for everybody?
You know what? It's been pretty good question-wise. There were some early questions regarding the postage rates. It's really easy once you log in. That's something you don't have to memorize. You can just come into your PostNow account and go into the budget. Use that budget calculator, figure out your postage amount. It is really easy to use. Nate did walk through it. He walked through it actually quite thoroughly. But we find most people, once they do the first order, and they don't do the first order alone, we're here to help you. But once you do that first order, it is so easy to place your second, third, and continuous orders from there. So think about all the steps that you currently take, or think about all the steps that you have taken in the past and found direct mail to be a little bit too time consuming. We've reduced all that. That was our challenge when Canada Post came to us a couple of years ago, was, can we make something affordable? Can we make it easy? Well, we've done that.
So I see that we have two hands up. Olga's hand is back up. Olga, you are unmuted. Do you want to proceed with your question?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we could hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, what about the program advertising through the MLS system? There's a program I used for many years. When you do the forms to fill to advertise for the personal routes, you pick up the routes. You know this program with MLS system, Stratus? No?
I'm not familiar with that. Sorry, Nate.
Because we do have on our MLS system the advertising program, Canada Post. You pick up the special routes and special, some of the houses or some of the apartments, and it's what I used for 15 years, I think. But this one is a different program, as I understood, and never saw it before.
Yeah, so I can maybe address that a little bit for you, Olga. So yeah, Canada Post is just the final leg of delivery, right? At the end of the day, Canada Post doesn't print anything and they don't design anything for real estate agents. They take the mail that you either print and design yourself, or a company, a turnkey solution like PostNow,
Yes,
does.
yes. I
Yeah,
do my own flyers. I bring those to the post office.
right.
I mean the special location, and
Sure.
they distribute it to the routes I
Right.
filled in a form.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
our goal is to take all of the work out of you, right? Like you don't have to go and do the print yourself, and then you don't have to bundle it together in packs of 100, and you don't have to fill out any of that paperwork that if you make a mistake, now you got to start over. Like we do all of that work for you. That's why we're a turnkey solution, and so our
Mhm.
goal is to help real estate agents that just don't want to do this by themselves because they know how much time it takes and they would rather be doing more valuable things with their own time. Like at the end of the day, like you're going to spend a couple hours if you try to do your own direct mail campaign. And the real estate agents we talk to, like, they value their time pretty high. And so if you actually calculated out the cost of your time, if you do all this work, there's never a better, it's never worth doing it yourself. You're always going to get better results and your time back. And as a real estate agent that's trying to run around and show homes and find new listings and take pictures and manage your own accounting and manage other real estate marketing, it's like you don't really want to be picking up and bundling flyers at the middle of the night because you got to get them out. So we're not a solution for everybody, and we totally get that. There's always going to be people that want to do it themselves. We're just here to help. Yeah.
I can see. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for your
Okay,
answer.
great.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So I'm just going to call the person by the order that I saw their hand go up. Zen Molko, you just need to take yourself off mute, please, Zen.
Yes, thank you. I understand from what you said earlier that it's more efficient to print volume. So I want to know what is the maximum volume required to get the maximum discount? And then there has to be obviously a back, because we call them shells.
Yeah.
When you just print, let's say 4 different shells printed at one time.
Yeah.
And then what's the cost for the weekly or bi-weekly, back print?
So with neighborhood mail, we typically don't do a back print. It's like you're going to print all 4 versions at the same time, because if you're sending them back to be reprinted, that's more common when you're doing like a personalized mail campaign where you have to put an address on and you don't know where they're going at the time. So with regards to your first part of that question, because that's a pretty tough question to answer, the more you print, the cheaper it gets. That's why you could print 1 million pieces and get the best rate possible. But what are you going to do with 1 million pieces and who's going to store them for you? So realistically, once you get about 10,000 pieces, so once you kind of get to that 10 to 15,000 pieces, the print savings, in my opinion, don't outweigh the potential risk of having to throw those pieces away because of a change in the market that now makes what you printed 4 months ago not relevant. And it's why we only will let you print up to 4 months out. We're not going to print an entire year's worth and keep them for you because there's just too many factors. That means that it's more likely they're going to get thrown away than used. So it's a really good question, and I think that's something that you would work with our account managers on to see what are your goals, what can we do to get you the best value on your overall campaign cost. At 10,000 pieces though, print and postage are about the exact same percentage of your campaign, 50%. And anything below 10,000 pieces, your print is your dominant cost. And anything above 10,000 pieces, postage becomes the dominant cost. So we help you out with that. But that's a big conversation. I would use our budget tool that I showed you and just start putting in numbers and seeing where that print rate changes as you go up. We do charge an extra $50 per drop. And so if you print 4 drops at a time, you're going to get charged an extra $150 for the extra processing of those 3 drops in that single campaign. So you still save a lot. It's just we've got a little bit of extra work that we cover with the campaign costs.
So then to that question, then you showed a template of a just listed and just sold.
Yeah.
How do you, in your system then, it's not personalized? How do you predict when you want to send the just sold? You may not know when that's going to happen.
Correct. And so it's pretty tough to pre-print just sold. That's a pretty tough one, right? Because it's if it was me, the value of sending a just sold postcard is to show the house and to show how much I sold it for and to show how quickly I sold it for, because that adds that value to my audience. And so I don't want to get too far into individual strategies of campaigns and the webinar side of things, but I think, Zan, if you're interested in trying to figure out direct mail, I would go and sign up for an account and request a consultation, and our team can kind of talk to you about what your strategy is and what's going to work the best. Just because you can save money in the front end doesn't necessarily mean it's always the right way to go when you're looking to do a little bit more of a variety of mail pieces and you don't know what you're going to do month to month. You just know you're going to continually hit the neighborhood. So we'll work through with that on an individual side versus trying to sort that out here.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
So we have another question from Sharon McGeegan. Is that correct, Sharon? Yeah, you're just on mute, so you just got to unmute yourself, Sharon.
I put the wrong thing off. Sorry. Hi.
Yeah, no worries.
I signed up for the I went online and I signed up. I've got it now, and I'm trying to build an audience. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong, so maybe I should be just talking to the chat people. But I get so far, and then it says add an entry, and I hit add an entry, and I get a big blue line in the middle. I don't know what to do with that.
We'll talk to you offline. I think you'll probably want to wait for us to verify your account and make sure that we get the TRREB rates set up. So just as a side note there.
Oh, okay, so that's what it is.
It could be
okay.
that. So it does take us up to 1 business day to verify you actually are a TRREB agent. We can't give you access to TRREB rates until we verify that. So yeah, give us a little bit. We assume we're going to get kind of inundated with a bunch of requests today. We'll get to it as soon as possible. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, I thought it was just me. I was crazy. So.
No, you don't.
Looks so easy
you're not
when
crazy.
you're doing it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Okay, thanks.
So we're almost coming to the end. So I just want to let everyone know I did put the TRREB rate in the chat. It's 11.3 cents per standard piece of neighborhood mail. And that you don't have to fumble with your customer number, agreement number. Nate and his team have that. They have been introduced to head office. They're working with head office and Canada Post, their trusted partner, so they will apply that rate automatically. There is no promo code. There's no more discounts on postage. That's a very great rate. Our rate card is 17.6 or 17.8 cents. I forgot.
Plus transportation.
Oh, plus transportation.
It's realistically, it's 18.8 cents, right? Like is what it really is. Yeah.
Yeah. So 18.8, close to 19 cents is rate card, and you guys are at 11.3. So yeah, it's a great savings on your distribution, and Nate and Craig have the most competitive print rates out there. So I mean, if you want to shop around, go ahead, but you will see that they are fair and they are fantastic. They have a great product. They use quality paper because just for my checklist, you want to make sure you're using a good paper stock as well, and always print in color.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
got
that's a funny comment. I mean, a little bit of an anecdotal evidence. I receive a flyer, a real estate agent's newsletter to my house every 4 to 6 weeks. It's printed black and white, single-sided on a tri-fold piece of thin paper. It comes in every time and it goes right to the trash. I'm like, you're advertising to an area with above average homes in our city, and you're gonna try to get by with black and white. Like, I'm sorry, like, you don't stand out enough as a brand, and if anything, you degrade your brand by not putting proper work into your marketing pieces. So if he was going through us, we just wouldn't let that go out. We would say, like, look, you really need to say, like, are your potential customers going to resonate with this? Or are they going to look at it and go, like, you're a cut rate real estate agent that isn't going to do good for me because you're not doing good for yourself. How are you possibly going to do good for me? I think it's an important thing to understand that psychology, and that because it's tactile and it sits, like, you have such an advantage if you do it right.
Great. So we have 1 minute left. If you have any more questions, I would say reach out to our team, Nate and Craig from One-to-One Mailing. They could help you with your individual marketing plan and strategy. Everyone's strategy is different. Everyone works in different neighborhoods and lives different places across Ontario. All the TRREB realtors are in Ontario. So yeah, they're happy to help you out. And I'm Sandra Bezier. I work at Canada Post. Nate and Craig from One-to-One Mailing, our expert partner and approved supplier for TRREB for turnkey solutions.
Thanks, everybody. It's great
Yeah, thank
chatting
you.
with you all.
Bye.